Hello, and welcome to another video. We're going to go over Watchman, which is annihilation. First thing you're going to see is an overview of the game on start bars. So this is the damage breakdown. We're not immediately going to go over this, but I will here soon. So basically what's going on with my healing, it looks really high, but half of that is actually personal percent heal. So about half of that, you cut about half of that off of there. That's the accurate scoreboard healing that you'll actually see. The damage will be a little bit off because it is depending on when I actually open combat. So that's a little bit different. And you see that I have one blink in the entire match where I'm not actually in combat, even though other people are. Overall, it's high uptime game, which is pretty nice. So to go into like what I'm doing and why I showed star bars is that most of the damage is coming from cauterized, and you can see the crit rate for it is really high. And the reason why it's so high is because I'm spamming Glycin as much as I can. I'm running the normal build that I do in my annihilation guide, and the reason I'm doing this is just simply it's the most damage you can get. You can take the other talent that allows your force friend to do a little bit extra damage, but in general, 30k damage is really not that good, and that's on the best case scenario. So for the most part, I find this one just to be way better because it gets you better Zen uptime. It makes your rotation more smooth, and on top of that, you're basically maximizing the crit on your dots. So when you pump Zen, you get 100% crit for your dots, which is really nice. And if you have dots on everybody, they all crit. So overall, that's a lot more damage in general, in my opinion. In this match, ever since I hit this guy for the first time, he pretty much hits me for the rest of the game. I don't understand why people do this, but I just do it. Whatever. Doesn't really bother me, but he definitely does lower the damage of the spec because that slow that Arsenal applies, which, by the way, if you guys didn't know, that slow was applied when the ability got changed to Blazing Bolts instead of Unload, and you didn't have Jet Out, you didn't have Great Mobility, you were a slow clunky class with no good defenses, and you still had to stay still to actually cast the ability. Now is not the case. Even in 5.0 wasn't the case. 5.0 is when it was really overpowered because it had more interrupt immunity, and it also had empowered Blazing Bolts still. That's no longer the case, so it's really obnoxious when somebody just tunnels you with it all the time, especially if you're on a class that just can't really deal with it. So you will see me slowed for like pretty much the rest of the match just because I hit this guy once. But overall, you'll see basically how most of my damage is going. He's doing a good job of like keeping me off him, but at the same time, everybody's just kind of like awkwardly walking away from me too. So most of the damage that's going out from annihilation here is getting my dots on somebody, getting Zen up so I can have the auto crit for my dots, and then using slash, dual saber throw, or annihilate, which is merciless slash. And obviously dual saber throw is really nice because you can use it before it procs, and then you can use it again when it procs, and both times it'll reproc your spiteful saber, which means it reticks your dot, which reticks an auto crit dot tick, which is great. And because dual saber throw is AoE, doesn't mean that you can get an AoE retick auto crit, which is really nice. It's where majority of your damage is actually coming from. And then on top of that, cauterized is usually the most damage because you're pretty much constantly reticking it with slash. Now, I've known some people, like I've played this a couple of times on my like other characters, and I've been tunneled by premades and all this other stuff. And I've even had people have the audacity to tell me, I know a better rotation if you want it. And I'm like really confused because, I backfill into a match and I get people typing to me telling me that my rotation is bad because I'm spamming slash, yet I backfilled into the match and still doing more than everybody else. It's really confusing that people are like that, but hey, there is a reason for the way that I'm playing. And I'm not particularly going to change it because I don't really feel like the other ways to play Annihilation is that fun. I don't like spamming slash, but it is definitely the most guaranteed damage that you can get, which I am more favorable towards. Also, nice thing is that their team is not really trying to play objectives. I mean, they don't have the damage, I guess you could say. So I'm just getting away with being as big of a nuisance as I can. And for the most part, if you guys are interested in defensives, I do have a guide on 8v8 and 4v4 defensive management. And on top of that, I do have some things I guess I could leave you with. When you use Cloak, it's 50% DR while you're in it, but also at the same time, it's a great tool for trying to reposition and or cleansing things, and including trying to drop aggro from somebody that's been tunneling you for the entire game. So very useful. Cloak of Pain is pretty much up all the time. It's a very low cooldown, just like Power Yield, but a little bit more consistent against classes like Arsenal with their armor pin. They kind of negate your armor, I guess, you gain from Power Yield, and nothing can negate your damage reduction from Cloak of Pain, which is pretty nice. But ultimately, you're not a super durable class, and I choose not to take Undying Rage just because I don't really feel like it's completely necessary, but you can actually end up healing quite a bit during Undying Rage, which is really nice. I take Mad Dash to just try to get out dodge a lot and reposition and hopefully get people off me. There is some AoE here, which is super nice, but I can't really set it up perfectly because everybody is pretty much always stunning me instantly, which definitely sucks. It's just because there's not very many melee players in the vicinity, so I'm pretty much the only person to hit. That's going to be normal. So the general rotation is a more simplified version of what it basically used to be. You still Saber Throw on cooldown, tie, Force Rend, and Annihilate together. But when you use Force Rend, it'll give you 10%, or not 10%, but it'll give you 10 stacks of Fury, which is great. So you'll have Zen up more. Here's the second match. We do up to 10,000 HPS, which is insane. I didn't check the HPS for this match, but I think we can probably see it if we pause it. Very curious what the HPS was, but overall, it's probably not bad. It's probably like 5k. The healing for this spec is pretty good, and the way I play it, you have Zen up a lot, so you're able to get a lot of the healing out more than you would on the other alternative talent, which is definitely a perk to Annihilation. The healing is nothing to laugh about either. 10k HPS, especially even to yourself, is quite a bit. Even if not all of the HPS is effective, I guess, because I'm already full health. In this match, it's a little bit more relaxed because I don't have an Arsenal Mercenary tunneling me yet, and I'm hoping that this guy doesn't just turn around and start pelting me. I do get this Rage Jug that tries to hit me, but I show no interest, and he gives up, which is perfect for me, because I really don't want to deal with a Rage Jug. He hits like 10 times harder on pretty much every single ability, and I need to basically sustain slash over and over to do consistent damage. And if you can disrupt, which Rage is very good at disruption, you can't really get that much damage off. It is a very reliant 4-meter spec, so think of like concealment, except for you have less durability and less survival, basically. That's the best comparison I could probably compare it to. Not like damage wise, but 4-meter range wise, you're very reliant on being able to like stay on top of your target. It'd be really nice if they would give us a talent for Cauterize that would probably slow the target or something like that. Maybe a slow on Cauterize would probably be really overpowered, but having an option to have like an extra slow or an ability to like stay on target a little bit better would probably help the spec a lot, or even just increasing the range, like a talent just increase the range of slash by like 2 meters. That would be a game changer for Annihilation and Watchman. Obviously, increased damage on Annihilate would also help too. I would love an auto crit. So there's Dispatcher, which gives the auto crit to slash. Not very good. Slash is our primary damage, but auto crit to slash is not good. It's not good enough to take it over the other two. So if we had auto crit on Annihilate after dual saber throw, you could add some skill to the class. So whenever you have an unproc dual saber throw, and then you get a proc, you basically get a reset on your dual saber throw. So you can choose out 2 auto-crit annihilates pretty well, and not too difficult to do either. So you can amplify your damage even further by paying attention to your dual saber and your rotation, basically. Which I think would be a really cool addition, and on top of that, it would give annihilation much needed bursts for PvP. And if it was tied to Dispenser, I feel like it wouldn't really be that crazy for PvE, at least hopefully. I'm pretty sure in PvE they do not run Dispatcher, though I could be wrong. And this match, I think, doesn't have much left to go for it, but if you guys have any questions about Annihilation or Watchman, feel free to leave them in the comments. I know the last time I played Annihilation, I was playing with Second Wind, and most of the matches were just steamroll and boring. This one is not much different, but at least you get to see good uptime, which really, to do damage in this game, all you need is good uptime. These matches are by no means really impressive or cool, but I figured, hey, I'll give you some Annihilation footage, and I'll tell you guys something about Annihilation so you can understand how it does damage and have a better idea of how it's played and basically what to do. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll be more than happy to help. And other than that, I believe we chased this guy for a while, and we don't actually kill him because we don't have that much kill potential. And I think we lose the kill right there just because I ended up jumping into the acid just a little bit. I could have got my dispatch off sooner. And I also didn't expect him to immediately break his force barrier to do that, so that also sucks. But generally, I'm not really too worried about this. I want a target that I can just hit and hit and hit, because that's going to be, the best example of just seeing how much damage I can do. And this is not bad. Here's our HPS. I missed it. It was like not that high, mostly because it was overhealing. But other than that, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day.